offense out. The senior has thrown for 1,774 yards and 18 touchdowns, has also rushed for 330 yards and scored twice on the course of the season. He threw for 180 yards last week in their sectional championship win over Sistina, As on first down, on the ground, here comes a misdirection. A pitch off to Pettigrew. The ball's on the ground. The ball is still loose. Diving for the ball. Players diving for it, and who's going to have it? One official. Now the referee has pointed to North Montgomery, and on the first play from scrimmage, Mike Gerald has fallen on the loose ball, and the Chargers have defensively come up with the first break on the first play.
Hey, Jeff, we talked about it in the pregame. We talked about it with the coaches on the field. You talked to Charlie German about it. The teams that lose in big tournament games are the teams that turn the ball over and give short fields to their opponents. Chatard could not have shot themselves in the foot in any worse condition to give North the ball on the 28-yard line.
B.J. Slicker after the loss of 2 has it first down and 10 deep in Chatard territory. He'll set up his 4-receiver offense, so he'll keep 2 receivers tight to each side. Look for him to maybe go for 6 right here. No, he'll roll out. He'll pitch up wide to the right side. Templeman will get a yard at the very most, maybe only get back to the original line of scrimmage, as the footing is very, very slippery out here. Paul Mullen, starting outside linebacker on this 3-5 offense for Chatard, runs Templeman to the ground, doesn't run him out of bounds. No gain. It'll be second down and 10.
Give Kevin Templeman all the credit in the world. The pitch was a little bit wide. He bobbled. He caught the ball on his hip and was able, and that's why he had to slow to make that turn. He had to worry about bringing the ball back up to his body and was able to get back to the line of scrimmage before he was brought down.
As we noted, Chatard runs a 3-5 offense, 5 or a 3-4 sometimes. But we also see a good set of linebackers running back behind that down 3 lineman. Here now is the wide run and shoot for North. Slicker back to throw. A pass is tipped at just past the line of scrimmage. Intended receiver was Calder. Ken Harden had the tip, got his hands up in the air as he came in from a linebacker position. Good coverage that time, and the Chargers now look at third down and 10 to go.
It is third and 10, but because of the kicking game that North Montgomery has not used all season long, Jeff, this is 2-down territory for North Montgomery, so they're obviously still pretty decent position.
If you're just tuning in again, we have 10:48 remaining in the first quarter. We are just underway after a 20 to 25-minute lightning delay here at Lawrence North High School. The Chargers now work out of the spread formation. Slicker stands back at about the Chatard 36-yard line and is calling for the ball. 3 wideouts to one side. Here's a quick snack to Templeman. Oh, Templeman on a fake. Breaks the tackle. Down to the 20 to the 15 to 10 to 5. Diving for the end zone. 6 points for North Montgomery. Kevin Templeman is in, and the Chargers have scored off the turnover. 28 yards and a touchdown for Templeman.
The play that Florida State used in the last play of the game against Virginia a week ago Thursday when Virginia beat Florida State, Jeff, and it didn't work for Florida State, but it works for Kevin Templeman and the Chargers. 6-0 North Montgomery.
The direct snap came as obviously, John, the Chatard linemen and linebackers looking for Slicker to pass on the third down and 10 call, and Templeman was through the original contact line, past the line of scrimmage, and broke a tackle.
That's right, and excellent blocking that time by Jason McCormick downfield that really let Kevin Templeman right into the end zone.
Good observation. Once he got into the backfield, he needed a little bit of help. The Chargers go for 2 points here, now leading with 10:40 to go in the first quarter, 6-0. Slicker over center, 1 back offense here. Cervantes on the handoff, flags fly, and we'll have our first infraction of the ball game as, again, the rain continues here, and the encroachment call, Tom, may go against Chatard.
The nose tackle jumped off sides and broke the line of the plane of scrimmage, Jeff, and that's going to be a 1.5-yard mark-off. Real quickly, North Montgomery takes advantage of the Chatard fumble that Mike Gerald picks up. They take it 3 plays, 28 yards. It takes them only 53 seconds, so the Chargers do what they do best. They take advantage of turnovers, they score quickly, and they get themselves on the board first.
And they are only a yard and a half out from a 2-point conversion. Last week, 5 for 5 in 2-point conversions in the sectional championship game against Monrovia. Splitting out wide to the right side. The handoff on the extra point attempt, though, will go to Cervantes. Cervantes will be covered up, and the pass or the extra point attempt will fail. And, John, it's very obvious that Chatard saw Cervantes score a couple, 3 times last week in the films. They had that play bottled up.
That's right. Last week they went to Manning, like you said, 3 or 4 times. They knew what was going to happen. I don't know why they didn't have Kevin Templeman right in there, right up the gut. But, hey, it's early. North Montgomery has a 6-0 lead.
They have taken advantage of a turnover on the very first play from scrimmage. Chatard has fumbled, and in 3 plays, as Tom just noted, the Chargers are on the board, so they take the early lead here in this regional championship ball game. Also want to remind everybody that we'll have scores during the course of the night from down south, down in the Evansville area, where it is Brownstown at North Posey. And for all those of you who say, well, where and what are either of those? North Posey is a little bit west and almost a little bit south of Evansville. One of those you got to fly there just about to get to the ball game. So North Montgomery will kick off again as the Chargers moving through a very, very muddy sloppy part of the field on their half of the 50-yard line. Templeman will tee it up at the 40 as high school rules dictate. But, Tom, looking at the 25 and the 30-yard lines down there, there is a lot of water standing and there's a lot of mud when the guys get to that end of the field.
And North Montgomery, who's going to have their choice of what they want to do in that second half, Jeff, if they've got a big lead, look for them to take field position so that they will force Chatard to have to go to the bad field in the fourth quarter.
Very possible. Templeman will tow it up. He'll put a right foot into it, and it'll scream one low and quick along the side. It'll be picked up at about the 30-yard line. One of the upbacks has it. Quick coverage by North Montgomery as it's going to be, I believe, Jimmy Pappas on the return. And I think I saw for North Montgomery back on coverage, Tom.
Oh, North Montgomery was Tim Flagg.
Tim Flagg was, I think, on the tackle. About a 4-yard return, and Chatard will set up first down and 10.
Weather conditions, good job. You kicked the ball low, and you saw the return man for Chatard bobble the ball. Once he had picked it up, he dropped it back down. That gave the coverage team plenty of time. Tim Flagg with a nice tackle.
Now, no way that they're going to keep these footballs dry under these conditions here tonight with 10:33 to go. Chatard starts from their own 34-yard line. An I formation sets up behind Rich Linden. He'll call for the ball. Pitching out wide to Hamilton on the right side. Donnell Hamilton will get back to the original line of scrimmage and dive forward for about a yard. 182-pound senior tailback will be knocked down by outside linebacker B.J. Slicker. Want to look, Tom, after the gain of one, very quickly at the north front line. Jack Whitecott and Jason Brown, Mike Gerald, and John Sparks on the front line. Corey Walden plays a lot also in the defensive tackle position. Whitecotton has had 7 sacks in the last 2 playoff ball games, has 11 sacks overall. Jason Brown recovered 2 fumbles, including one for a touchdown last week as North's defense pitched that 40-0 shutout. For Chatard on second down and 9. Senior tight end Andy Hager splits out wide to the right side of pack formation as Linden rolls out right. Here's a pass out on the flat on the left side. It's intended for Hamilton. The pass was way too high, and Tom, what pressure on Linden. He had to release the ball way before he wanted to.
He really did, and what really caused a big problem there, Jay, Andy Hager and Kyle Connor, the 2 wide receivers who were coming down the middle of the field. First of all, their spacing was horrible. Second of all, they ran into each other and they fell down. And so all of a sudden, the quarterback has one option. He threw the ball a little bit high. The receiver has turned around backwards, bounces off his hand incomplete. North in good position here, third and long. Watch for those defensive ends to come flying in.
Maybe look for a blitz as well. Hamilton was covered by Jason Gwynn. Wide out to the left side comes Hager as on third down and long. Linden splits his offense out. He'll drop back to pass. Here comes the blitz. Here's a screen pass that's tipped away, and it's incomplete. The intended receiver coming out of the backfield, I believe, was Ottenweller, and no E there, and the sophomore unable to get a hand on it, and with fourth down, 3 and out for Chatard.
And I tell you what, Jeff, the Chatard team, which we know has the ability to run this offense very well, has just staggered themselves out their first 2 times with the ball.
Ratcliffe with good coverage. McCormick drops back into his own territory, stops at about his own 40, keeps on drifting back with 9:40 to go in the first quarter. It will be a Chatard to kick the ball away. Walter McCain, who averages only about 30 yards a kick on the season, will take a snap. North showing a rush. Here comes a bit of a rush, or a 3-step right-footed kick, and it comes down to about the 40-yard line. Yerkes has it. Yerkes has a block down to the left side. He's near midfield, crosses midfield, and he'll be hauled down on the tackle for Bishop Chatard by Andy Hager on the kick. And so with 9:31 to go in the first quarter, the Chargers with a 6-point lead after converting on the turnover will take over on the 14-yard return by Aaron Yerkes.
Aaron Yerkes did an excellent job, Jeff, of waiting for the ball, and at the last second, stepping up to take the kick because you cannot cut defensively very well. He just blew right past the man who was on coverage.
Chargers will move first down and 10 from the Chatard 48-yard line as Gwynn comes wide out to the right side, and man, is it raining right now. It has just opened up again. Templeman comes in motion to the near side. Slicker over center. 4 wideouts to this side of the field. Here's a swing pass. That's a pass off to Templeman. He picks up a yard and 2 now on good second effort. Keeps his balance, puts his left hand down as he keeps the ball close to the body, and then stumbles across the 45-yard line down to about the 44. John Steffen on the tackle after the gain of 4. Good effort by Kevin Templeman.
Great individual effort. You see him do that a lot. That's a little bit of a twist on a play. You see North run a lot where they put Templeman in motion out to the strong side of the field, and then they throw that little flanker pass out to McCormick and let Templeman be the blocker. This time McCormick blocked for Templeman, gain of 5 yards.
A new look. You heard Coach German in our pregame show talk about trying to throw as many of the same formations that Chatard may have seen, but put some wrinkles on those. Gwynn splits wide to the left side. Calder splits wide to the left side. In the slot also goes Ratcliffe. Everybody out into a pattern. Slicker over center. He'll look to throw again. Here's a swing pass, and he leads his intended receiver, Sean Ratcliffe, just a little bit too much. Ratcliffe had a blocker down there. Donnell Hamilton had pretty good coverage, but I think BJ was looking for Sean to maybe take an extra step upfield. Instead, he waited for the ball, and the ball was out in front of him.
one of those where Sean Ratcliffe kind of did a circle out, Jeff, like he was coming out of the backfield, like you'd see a running back do, and BJ expected him, as you mentioned, to go upfield. BJ so far, Jeff, only 1 out of 3 for 4 yards.
1 for 1 on third downs was North Montgomery, but man, that was a 28-yard touchdown run by Kevin Templeman, as Slicker now looks at a third down and about 6 to go here, just inside the 35-yard line of Chatard. Again, 3 wide out to the left side, Gwynn's tight on the right. Slicker keeps Templeman in behind him. On the snap, on the handoff, Slicker rolls to the right side. Got to break an extra tackle before he gets the first down. He will not get it done. He'll get to the 40-yard line. He'll be hauled down by middle linebacker defensive lineman Ken Darden and Doug Presley. And Tom, at this juncture, at about the 40-yard line of Chatard, probably look for North to kick.
Yeah, B.J. Slicker, who is the punter for North, the ball's just inside the 40-yard line, or right at the 40-yard line. It's going to be a field position game. You've already got the lead. You've got the weather, that's going to bog offenses down. Look for B.J. just to do a little pooch kick and see if he can bury Chatard.
Although, with a gadget play on the last third down, will North gamble? Oh, man, they're sending Slicker up to the line of scrimmage. They're not even going to fake the kick. As on fourth down and about 2 to go, the Chargers will look to go for it on fourth down. Slicker changes the call at the line of scrimmage. 1 wide out to each side. Slicker on the keeper, rolls to the right side, pulls it back. He's got the first down. He's inside the 35-yard line, and it'll be first down and 10 for North Montgomery. The tackle is Doug Presley, but the Chargers again gamble, Tom, and they are now 2 for 2 in the gambling department, and they'll keep the ball.
Give Charlie German and give Scott Kegley all the credit in the world for gambling in a big game instead of playing the conservative route. B.J. Slicker audibilizes at the line of scrimmage like you see do a lot. He took the ball out of Kevin Templeman's hand because he knew with his 6'2 frame he could get around to the outside, fall forward, and get the first down.
Pickup of about 6. North has run for 38 yards. Of course, 28 of those came on the big touchdown run. It'll be first down and 10 for the Chargers. They'll move from the Chatard 34-yard line. 7:35 the clock running down here in the first quarter. North's got the lead by a touchdown. Looking for more. Slicker on first down. Throws it. There's a pass batted at the original line of scrimmage, and it's going to be Robert Pettigrew on the tip as he got a big set of hands up. And that's one thing Coach German talked about, Tom, with a big, tall, 6'3", 6'4" line for Chatard. They're going to be able to bat passes down.
And that's something that BJ's not had to deal with all season long, Jeff. He really has never had to deal with it at all in his 4 years of high school because he's so big. He's never had to worry about guys who get their hands up. I've never seen BJ have 2 balls deflected in a game, let alone the first period.
And as McCormick splits out wide to the left side, also Calder out wide to the left side, second down and 10. Templeman and Cervani set up in an I formation for North on second down. Over center, Slicker calls for the ball. Again, the 3-4 offense. Here's Slicker right up the middle. He tapped his center, Brian Brown, right on the backside and said, we'll go right behind you. It's Donnell Hamilton coming up from a strong safety position to make the tackle. But Tom, BJ saw something open that time, and as every quarterback does, having the option to give the center that tap and say, hey, well, let's go run right behind you. And in this case, Slicker picks up pretty good yardage.
Yeah, Slicker will pick up 5 yards. It's going to set up a third down and 4 or 5, depending where they finally put the ball down, Jeff. And that's just a good play. It also keeps those linebackers honest. It's going to force those cornerbacks to shade to the inside. That's going to open those side routes out for the wide receivers.
We'll give BJ 6 on that one, as on third down now, about 4 to go. North, again, sets up very tight in a packed formation. Boy, we've not seen much of that all year long, keeping those wide receivers and folks that close in. Here on the third down play, Slicker keeps it. Wide lateral, back to Templeman. Templeman grabs the ball at about the 35-yard line. BJ had, Tom, enough yards for the first down, and then lateral back to Templeman behind the sticks. But Templeman, had a good head of steam build up, and the 210-pound junior was finally knocked down by Doug Presley, whose number we've called a bunch defensively from a cornerback position. The first down will be earned, and the sticks will move.
Yeah, big break for North Montgomery. Sometimes BJ and the North players worry so much about making the big play instead of just having confidence in their ability to move the ball at will if they stay in their offensive set. BJ should have just gone ahead and kept that ball as it is. It worked out for the Chargers anyway, first down.
As the left foot spot goes, the ball is about at the 21-yard line, 18 total yards thus far for Slicker and Templeman on their particular individual carries. Now, wide out, wide to the right side. Sean Ratcliffe has the split wide to the right. Cervani's back, single back. Here's a flare-out pass to McCormick. He's got the catch. Racing for the end zone on the left side. He'll be hauled out of bounds at about the 6-yard line, maybe the 5. It'll be a first down. Kyle Connor comes up from corner, but just a 2-step drop that time for Slicker. Throws it out to the left side. McCormick then just turns the Jets on, and he raced for the end zone.
I tell you what, I feel sorry for any corner who's got to try and cover Jason McCormick in this type of in this type of weather on a wet field, because the moment he gets that ball and he gets his first step going, and that guy's got to turn to recover and come back by then, Jason McCormick's by you.
13-yard pass and run combination, first down and goal to go as the Chargers go in the red zone for the first time tonight. They do lead by a touchdown, though, after scoring on a 28-yard run by Kevin Templeman. On the first down call, Slicker sets up wideouts one to each side. He'll keep Templeman in close behind him. As looking to change the call, Slicker calls for the ball. He'll hand off to Templeman, and man, did Chatard have that one read out. It's going to be Pettigrew, Geis, Harden, and a couple of others in on his hit. Andy Hager also has part of the hit, as that time, John, Kevin Crow, Brandon Wolf, Brian Brown, Jason Brown, Brad LaFoon had nowhere to push. They were just outgunned that time.
That's right. Excellent line surge that time by Chatard, getting into North Montgomery, stopping Kevin Templeman on a short gain.
As the 10th play of this current North Montgomery drive is coming up, and they started just inside the 50-yard line after a good return by Aaron Yerkes on a punt. We've reached the halfway point of the first quarter. 6 minutes to go, and the Chargers are in the red zone looking for some more. Second down and goal to go. I formation set up. Slicker keeps it. Play action. Throws out into the end zone looking for Gwynn. Can't get it to him. Gwynn has to leap up high. Had that ball been just a little higher, Tom, the secondary and unintended receiver, Clint Calder, may have been able to run underneath it. Zig Mazanowski had pretty good coverage, though, on Gwynn.
He did an excellent job. Mazanowski did a good job of stuffing down Gwynn at the line. By the time Jason was able to force that, he was actually back where he was actually standing right next to Kevin Templeman. His dive, he wasn't able to get it as he leaped up into the air. And as you mentioned, just a nice touch play. If he gets away from the line cleanly, that's probably a touchdown for North.
It'll be third down and goal to go. Coming up from, when are we going from the 7 to the 8-yard line here? From the 7-yard line, 2 out of 3 on third downs are the Chargers. Pulling out wide to the right. Ratcliffe. Will Slicker look for him? Play action fake. Has some time. Throw it over the middle. It's Gwynn. And in and out of his hands. Incomplete. 3 North Montgomery players in the end zone. Gwynn had a good look at it. Donnell Hamilton was there. And a slippery football, Tom, probably went right between the fingertips of Jason Gwynn.
Yeah, Jason Gwynn once again gets his body turned a little bit sideways. He slides across the middle of the end zone and just isn't able to hang on to the ball. It sets up fourth down. North already 1 of 1 on fourth down conversions in this drive.
It'll be that fourth down call, as we mentioned. Brent will ask you not to turn that volume meter up again. As the call coming up, you can hear the Chatard crowd down below us. Pretty decent crowd has filed back into the stadium here at Lawrence North High School. Going in motion to the far side is Calder. One back is Templeman set up behind Slicker. On play action, Slicker rolls to his right, getting harassed, throwing it into the end zone way too far. Throwing it down out into the high jump pit on the far end of the field, and Lawrence North defense holds on fourth downtown. That's certainly a big momentum break for the Trojans. Andy Hager had good pressure that time on BJ. He had nowhere to throw it, and just threw it up in the end zone, and it went too high.
That's right. Smart play by BJ to get rid of the ball and loft it up towards the end zone, hoping that you get a break working your way. Worst case scenario, you get an interception. Give Hager all the credit in the world. He put great pressure, the 6'5" body coming at BJ, and BJ had to try and get around him and then throw over it.
Well, as it was, though, there was a lot of time to develop the play, and it was just good downfield coverage by Chatard. From the 8-yard line on first down, the handoff goes to Pettigrew, as again, we have seen Chatard keep it pretty close to the vest in their initial series. If you're just joining us, they fumbled on their very first play from scrimmage, and North went in and scored on a gadget play, and that's how they lead. And then after a 3 down and out, the defense for Chatard has held, and they now get the ball back. Gain of a couple that time for Pettigrew as we get close to the 5-minute mark of the first quarter. Coming back up over center, senior quarterback Rich Linden has sophomore split out Steve Kavanaugh to the left side. I formation set up behind him. Flags are flying, and are we going to blow this dead? Yes. I don't think the officials were going to blow it dead at first, and when everybody just kind of stood up and stopped, the illegal procedure call against Chatard will now set up a second down and about 12 or 13 to go.
Yeah, it'll be a 5-yard mark-off against Chatard. It'll be their second penalty here in the first half, Jeff, as they had an encroachment earlier. 2 penalties now, Brent says, for a total of 6 yards.
And it'll just make them...
And I think he's wrong.
Well, it'll be, 6 or 7, to Rose.
And actually, they took the play, and it was a gain of about 1, and so North is going to decline that penalty. They went ahead, even though it was in slow motion, they went ahead and ran that play, no whistles.
But nobody got tackled.
Yeah, he ran right in the line and got tackled.
Oh, all right. So it'll be third down, about 5-6 yards to go for Chatard, deep in their own territory, just outside the 10-yard line. 0 for 1 on third down thus far is Chatard as we go under 5 minutes to play. Daniels comes out wide to the left side. Tight formation again, set up behind Linden. The I formation, dotting the I is going to be Hamilton. Back to throw on play action. Here comes Templeman. Can't get the ball, can't get a hand on him. As the rain falls and a pass is completed out on the left side, it's going to be out of bounds. And boy, Kyle Connor caught the ball, and he is just livid on the far side. And Rich Linden has gone over to plead his case with the side judge, and I got a hunch he'll have just as much luck as Connor did. Good coverage by Ratcliffe, and it'll be 4th down, and Chatard will have to kick the ball away again.
Kyle Connor, one of those people for Chatard that we did not talk about in the pregame show, Jeff, that we probably should have. As an offensive threat, he has, I believe, 14 touchdowns on the season, and as a defensive back, he has picked 5 passes off for that Chatard Trojan defense.
48 receptions, 824 yards, and those 14 touchdowns, as Tom talked about, as McCain will try and kick the ball away. Pressure was on Templeman. Man, there's a great kick out to about the 45-yard line as Yerkes then slips and falls after a gain of only a couple yards. But North Montgomery will have good field position when you return. They lead 6-0. Chatard 43-yard line. North will put the ball into play. Calder comes in motion. Slicker keeps it. He's hit just as he releases the ball. The ball is intercepted at the 26-yard line. This is going to be Mazanowski on the interception with a return up to about the 40 now. Make it the 42-yard line. Slicker under some pressure in the backfield, and BJ throws his 9th interception of the season. Tom, I think he was just under a little duress there. Needed to get rid of the ball. Probably a little bit of a slipperiness situation on the football, and as a result, couldn't get rid of it on a 14-yard interception return by Mazanowski.
Yeah, as BJ was sliding back, and he had to try and throw from his back foot, Jeff. He just couldn't get the strength on it as he did. He lofted the ball a little bit. Excellent interception by Mazanowski, and pretty decent field position. Their best so far of the day for the Chatard Trojans.
So after a 34-yard punt, only a 3-yard return for North on that last kick. The turnovers now go 1-1 as North converted on a Chatard fumble and scored. Now the Trojans have the ball. On play action, rolling out to the right side. Linden gets outside of containment, throws deep, looking for Connor. Connor's got it, and Connor's going to score. It's going to go all the way. Connor slips behind coverage. John Ratcliffe had a moment to try and get back, but then he slipped again, and Chatard ties it up on a 56-yard pass play from Rich Linden to Kyle Connor.
And we just talked about Connor a moment ago, Jeff, when he had that pass that was caught out of bounds on their last offensive possession, that he is their big scoring threat. He's the person who has the deep threat. He's gone 71 yards for a touchdown earlier in the season, and we just saw that. His smart ability to take advantage of a defensive back that was out of position. He slid behind the defense and was able to get the score.
Drew Fillenwart will come in to try the extra point. Has a bad snap now, doesn't get back to the holder, and trying to roll inside will be holder Andy Stamm. Stamm will be tackled before he gets into the end zone, but now we got a flag on the far side of the field.
Yeah, there's a flag on the far side of the field, and it looks like this may be called against North Montgomery because they're keeping the special teams out on the field.
May have. It was an encroachment call, I believe. Did I see that?
Actually, too many men on the field.
All right, 12 men. So a
big break for Chatard, who is almost automatic with this extra point kick to give him a second chance. What would have been a tie game, very likely, is going to be a 7-6 Chatard lead. Chatard scoring drive, Jeff. One play, 56 yards. It took him only 12 seconds to tie the game.
Big play capability for this Trojan team, as Coach Craig Barr has now elected that with a penalty moving down to the 1.5-yard line, he will also, as North did on their score, elect to go for 2 points. So Fillenwart, who was 31 of 36 in extra point attempts coming into this ball game, now will go back to the sidelines, and senior quarterback Rich Linden will come out, and he'll set up a power I formation behind him. He'll hand off to Hamilton. Hamilton will crash up the middle, and the side judge says no good. Good defensive play by the middle of the North Montgomery line. John will get a number on 3 or 4 different guys. Tim Flagg, the principal hitter. Sparks comes up off the stack as well. coming off the bottom of the hit. There's Mike Gerald. So the interior of the North Montgomery line does the job at that time, and they hold, and our score now with 3:46 to go in this first quarter is 6-6.
Give credit to both teams now. They've taken advantage of the turnover of their opponent, and they've put quick points on the board. North took only 3 plays to score after the Chatard fumble. It takes Chatard only 1 play after the interception by B.J. Slicker, and they go a long way in a short period of time, taking only 12 seconds to tie this game up at 6-all. As you mentioned, still 3:46 left to go in the first period, and the rain's let up.
Senior flanker Kyle Connor just did a nice job as he really gave on the hitch that time. Got Ratcliffe turned the wrong direction, and then in the slippery condition on that part of the field, John, when he got the ball, there was no way anybody was going to catch him.
That's right, and when Sean got turned around where he could see the ball, it looked like he tried to go for the interception, and he threw it just a little bit too far where Connor got the ball and scored.
And went in for his 15th touchdown of the season, and for Linden on the season, that is his 19th passing touchdown. So he, as B.J. Slicker, a very good passing quarterback, to put a lot of points up on their team scoreboards. Walter McCain, who does the punting for this Chatard team, will kick off, and North will drop their regular contingent back deep. McCormick stands about at his own 5-yard line. The rest of the guys stand at about their 15 to 25. As the sidewinder will put a right foot into it and get a pretty good kick out. That will drop at about the 10, back to about the 5, now picked up at about the 7. On this is going to be Cervantes, who'll pick it up. He'll get around the right side, get a pretty good return out of the whole thing as he is knocked out of bounds at about the 21-yard line. So Cervantes had to go back deep. Tom, he got a 16-yard return. Mazanowski has the tackle, and that ball was bouncing around pretty crazily, and somebody needed to pick it up.
I tell you what, with that sidewinding kicking style, that's just a great ability when you have just a single receiver back there, and Jason McCormick, because of the way he kicks with any skill whatsoever, as a soccer player he probably is, Jeff, he can probably place that where he wants to. He just kicks it away from Jason McCormick.
The Chargers in their worst field position of the ball game. They start on their own 21-yard line, first down and 10 with 3:41 to go here in this first quarter. Again, if you're just tuning in to WIMC, wondering what went on, we had a 25-minute lightning delay to start this football game. On first down, here's Cervantes on the handoff, going left side, going nowhere fast. Ken Hardin Jr., the 218-pound, 6-foot senior nose tackle, Tom, came storming right through the middle of the blocking assignment and knocked Cervantes for a loss of 3 yards. That play was never going to get a chance to develop.
No, and now at this point now, Jeff, it's the North Montgomery offense that seems just a little bit out of step as they're trying to get through this, and it's Chatard that is, sorry about the pun, but has weathered this early North Montgomery storm and has got themselves going very well right now.
Never be sorry for a bad pun. You've been with this broadcasting crew long enough that
and I know well enough to apologize.
We race for the bad puns. Ratcliffe brings the play in from the opposite side of the field from Coach German and Coach Kegley. McCormick splits out wide to the right side. Ratcliffe goes in the slot on the right. Here comes Templeman on the motion to this far side of the field. Here's a pass that Slicker was intended for Jason McCormick, and Donnell Hamilton has been watching the tapes very carefully defensively, Tom, because he stepped in front and very nearly intercepted a pass there. That would have only been about a 15-yard return for him for a score.
Yeah, you know that BJ hasn't had that ability, or because North goes to that so many times, this is the exact opposite of what we saw earlier. This time it was thrown to McCormick when he had Templeman out front of him to block BJ, struggling early, Jeff. 2 of 9, only 17 yards and the 1 pick.
As the Chargers are 2 out of 5 on third down conversion attempts. It's third down now and 13 to go. The Chargers put the wideouts to each side. Templeman stays in the backfield. Slicker back to throw. Has some time. Wings it out. This on the catches Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe heads for the sticks on the far side, but he'll be well short by about 4 or 5 yards, as we see over on coverage. Mazanowski, one of the principals, and a couple of other guys knocking people out of bounds. It'll be fourth down. The Chargers will definitely have to give the ball away this trip.
Yeah, and North is going to punt the ball away, and as we mentioned, B.J. Slicker is their punter, so he'll drop back with Kevin Templeman as the short blocker for it.
Kyle Connor will drop back deep. He'll stand at about midfield, as Slicker will stand at his own 15. Again, the Chargers are in the worst spot on the field. It is very muddy right there. Clean snap, right-footed kick. That Slicker kicks away from Connor, gets a good North Montgomery roll, will roll down and roll out of bounds at about the 30-yard line of Chatard. So the Trojans will have it first and 10. When you come back, our score tied 6-6. we get back to action here at Lawrence North. Running play on first down will be Robert Pettigrew. He'll be knocked down by Jason Brown and others. So, again, the running game for Chatard, John, has not worked all that well thus far, but they came up with a big play as North came up with a big play to tie the score.
That's right. Coach Charlie German usually likes to go for the jugular vein on a turnover. This time, he got a taste of his own medicine as Chatard went for the big play.
56 yards on one play. As on second down, we'll call it 10 to go. Linden will split wides out, 2 to 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Single back in behind him on play action, dropping to throw. And the catch is made by Connor out on the right side for a gain of about 4 yards, but Connor was flat on his knees. Yerkes was there for coverage, but obviously because of his knees being down, the play stops right there. No tackle, although Yerkes was close by.
Big play here for the Charger defense, Jeff, if they can stop Chatard here, get the ball back, and then go on another one of these sustained drives like they did where they were unable to convert and lost the ball on downs on the 7-yard line.
Chatard 0 for 2 on third down conversion attempts. They'll face a 3rd down and 6 here with the ball spotted just outside on their side of the 35-yard line. Splitting out wide to the left side will come Pettigrew. Now he's going to come off the field, actually. Splitting wide to the left side will be Hager. Hager and double wide out coming over here on the left is also going to be tailback Donnell Hamilton. Here's the wide pitch on the left side on the handoff. Oh, what a hit at the 34-yard line. The carry is going to be by Doug Presley, and what a hit.
Jason Gwynn, Jeff, who was the person who had to slide out to follow that far slot receiver, knew that it was a running play all the way. The ball was snapped, and instead of staying with his man, he made a beeline right for the ball carrier, stuck him in the backfield, and dropped him for a loss.
Well, actually, it's statistically going to be a gain of 0 there, but it will be a failed 3rd down conversion attempt, and North Montgomery should get the ball back. As McCormick drops back, will he get the kick this time? Getting the kick away, McCain gets a nice kick away. Here's McCormick at his own 34-yard line, right in the middle of the mud. He's going to be hauled down, and we've got a flag in on the run back. Only a gain of a couple yards for McCormick. Tom, did he get the face mask?
No, he did not. He grabbed the shoulder pad, Jeff, and they're going to call a face mask. It's 15 yards in high school automatically.
Well, or if they call it the other way, if it goes the other way,
it's a clip.
All right, a 32-yard kick, a 4-yard return, a personal foul. It is a clipping call against North Montgomery. Tom, they threw the flag right at where the tackling was occurring, and I didn't think the side judge could possibly miss that and call a face masking, but didn't see the clip. And so the Chargers will take pretty good field position, and now with 1 minute 2 seconds to go in the first quarter, they don't have such good field position.
No, they don't have good field position. The rain starts back up again, Jeff, and I tell you what, if that had been a face mask call, that would have been a very poor call by the official.
Yeah, we've got, as you get to the regionals and the final 8 of football playoff action, you generally get to pretty much the elite.
You don't get those NBA officials.
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
You get the elite of the officiating crews as the mark-off, as the rain now comes down again in buckets. It's, as we noted during our thunder and lightning delay, that the forecast over here on the northeast side of Indianapolis is for intermittent heavy rains, and that's exactly what we have gotten. We had a 25-minute delay for thunder and lightning. We've got a minute to go and counting now in the first quarter, and we've got a 6-6 ball game, and I'll guarantee you, if we play on that side of the field all night long and it keeps raining like this, we won't read any numbers because it's just turning into a quagmire down there. Flicker over center, first down and 10, the ball on his own 23-yard line. Back to throw on first down. There's a pass up on the flat looking for Clint Calder, and a wet, soggy softball goes right between the 5'9 senior's hands, and it'll be second down and 10.
Yeah, reason just floated that ball a little bit. He has to throw, when he throws that side out like that player to this side of the field, Jeff, he's thrown directly into that really strong wind and into the driving rain, and so the ball sails just a little bit, and Calder's not able to bring it up. BJ now only 3 of 12 passing, Jeff.
As splitting out wide to the right side comes Ratcliffe. Wide to the left side goes McCormick. As Flicker will keep 2 tight ends, and Cervantes in behind him. On second down, here comes the call. He'll take the snap. Ball's on the ground. Flicker's got to get back to it and picks it up and will dive forward. Maybe for a yard. He's going to lose a couple, though. He tried to put the ball into Manny Cervantes' gut, and the ball came sliding right back out. Paul Mullen was there. He was the closest to the ball and made the final tackle on Flicker, but the Chargers very nearly with a disastrous turnover deep in their own territory.
Yeah, and Jeff, with 17 seconds left to go, the clock's winding down. I look for North Montgomery, who just is not clicking right now on offense, to not try and run a play, let him go to the sideline, let him talk to the coaching staff, and see if they can come out in the second quarter hitting on all cylinders.
Well, and that's what they've done. They're heading for the sidelines. We've reached the end of the first quarter of play. North Montgomery and Chatard in regional football action tied at 6. Back after this.
Go Chargers!
Back here at Lawrence North High School, we're along with John Roach and Tom Coyle. I'm Jeff Nelson. Glad to have you along. We've also got Greg Simpson down, hopefully with a good umbrella down on the sidelines. Harvey Keller is here. Barry Lewis is here. And the North coaches are over close by over here on the right side. It's a large press box with no dividing lines anywhere, so everybody's kind of hearing what everybody else has to say. As the Chargers now face, Tom, a very long third down play, and probably an awfully crucial third down play for this juncture of the ball game. Get the yards and get a better field position, get a better spot to kick the ball away if that's what's got to happen. But it sure be nice to pick up 13 yards in the first down.
Yeah, it sure would. It would be just nice to see for North to get a play to run the way it's designed to run, something they have not done in their last 2 possessions.
After scoring on their first series, after recovering a Chatard fumble, the Chargers will split Jason McCormick, the junior, wide to the left side. He has 842 yards receiving on the season, almost an identical number to what Kyle Conner, who had 824. Working out of the spread. Slicker has a little bit of time. Whoa, he's got room in the middle. Now he'll tuck it and run. Will he get to the first down 6? Puts on a fake. Breaks the tackle. He's going to head for the 6. Will he get the first down? Oh, and a hit at the 33-yard line. Get the number of the truck that level, B.J. Slicker. What a hit by Donnell Hamilton. Slicker bounces right up, but it's a first down. North Montgomery will give Slicker 14 yards. And, man, you could see B.J.'s feet. He got hit so hard. He was running straight ahead, and he was horizontal with the ground on just a crunching blow right at about his probably rib cage and his shoulder pads. Knocked him flat down, but he got up quickly.
This is what happens, Jeff, when you get to the Final 8 level in the state. You're playing only good teams, and those teams are good because they hit hard. And we've seen 2 amazingly hard hits already so far in this game.
And the good thing for both teams is that the guy who got hit bounced up and ran back to the huddle, especially for North Montgomery. Jason Gwynn had the big hit for North on their last defensive series. Gwynn, in fact, is in the slot on the right side as Slicker will go to a familiar formation, 2 wideouts to each side, and keep Templeman in the block behind him on first down and 10. On the ground game, Slicker will roll out to his left side. He'll get nowhere. He fakes the handoff to Templeman, who would have gotten a yard or 2, keeps it, and instead rolls left side. If our statistician, Brent Harris, is very generous, we'll get a no gain. He might lose 1.
Jeff, real quickly, between plays, I'll run down some quick stats. First quarter for Chatard, 6 carries, only 4 yards, passing 2 out of 5, 56 yards, and a touchdown, a total of 60 yards in that first half, only 1 first down.
I guess when we get this next play, hold on to that piece of paper. I'll tell you why I got that big smile for a second. On second down, we'll call it 10 to go. I formation will set up behind an offset I now for Slicker. He'll send wideouts 1 to each side. On the call, here it comes. Slicker back to throw. He's got to get rid of it. Rolls loose. He's going to be sacked for a loss of almost 10 yards. Good hit. That particular trip down the field is going to be Ryan Jacobs. He'll have the principal sack, as that time Slicker just looked to try and get rid of the ball quickly. There was nobody open quickly, and then as the pocket fell, the Chargers ended up not being able to get rid of the ball, and the sack occurs.
Key point here for North Montgomery. They've not had things go poorly for them like this, with maybe the exception of the Crawfordsville game. This is where the senior leadership, where B.J. Slicker just needs to say, okay, guys, instead of getting down on the guys around him, he just needs to carry him on his back a little bit and go forward and carry this North offense.
Good coverage again, though, that time downfield by Chatard, who they've done their homework, as a Slicker works out of the spread formation. Now he'll send Templeman in motion to the far side of the field on 3rd and 21 after the loss of 11. Slicker's got to get rid of it. Just as he releases the ball, looking for Ratcliffe on that post pattern that we see so many times, Tom, but with pressure coming up the middle from John Steffen, it was not to be, as Slicker, BJ had to get rid of the ball too quickly, about a step early for Calder, and it'll be 4th down.
All the credit in the world is Chatard coaching staff seems to have found the way to slow down this North offense, Jeff, which is not let the other receivers off the line of scrimmage very quickly. That way you don't have to worry about double teaming Jason McCormick, and that's really taken a lot of offensive weapons away from B.J. Slicker.
Slicker stands at about his own 12-yard line, takes the snap, gets the right-footed kick away. Connor is deep. He'll let the ball bounce, as again, after a 50-yard kick last trip down the field, Slicker will get another good roll, and the ball will roll down inside the 40-yard line. 9:36 to go here in this first quarter. 41 yards on the kick. No return on it. We've got a 6-6 score here at Lawrence North. And Tom, the reason I wanted you to keep that piece of paper, you wanted to get first quarter stats in, and all I could see is as he held the piece of paper up, it said the rain has stopped. And
that was what.
And so what? The rain has stopped 15 times.
No, that was my note for you. Was I wanted to point out, while North had the ball on offense, the rain had stopped. That was not. Oh,
it was not
intentional. It was intentional.
Oh, all right.
But you can tell that we work well together. We've been working together for 6 years, and we have no idea what we're doing.
Then get another sign up that says the rain has started, because we've been using that off and on through the course of this ball game. It'll be a Chatard High School ball.
And for some reason, we have a timeout.
And we've got a timeout. So we'll take timeout here ourselves. Again, 9:36 remaining in the first half. Tied up at 6.
Larry?
On the play, Donnell Hamilton takes the pitch from quarterback Rich Linden, fumbles the ball, Slicker recovers it, laterals it back to Jack Whitecotton, who goes in the end zone, but we have a penalty flag down, Tom.
And I really think this is going to be it's going to be illegal procedure. The play is going to stand.
And my goodness, what a play. We apologize for being in the middle of that break. We had the option of stopping the tape and breaking into the middle, but we're true to our sponsors. And if Larry Cummings wants to, he can come and beat me on the head tomorrow morning for not getting that play on. A return of 37 yards totally. DJ Slicker picks up the loose ball on the fumble, returns it 12 yards, and Jack Whitecotton has another defensive touchdown for North Montgomery.
And North Montgomery, 3 weeks in a row, has put a defensive score on the board here in the state tournament, Jeff.
With 9:25 to go here in the second quarter. It is now 12-6. The Chargers will look for 2. Slicker, who started the whole thing by picking up the loose ball, splits Calder way wide on the right side. On play action, rolls to the left. Will he get to the end zone? Dives for it. Yes! Slicker fakes left, fakes middle, fakes right, takes it by himself in for 2.
And wouldn't every coach in the state would love to have about a 6'3" quarterback who started for 4 years, who has the threat to run or to pass the ball, or who can just fall forward if he needs to pick up an extra couple of yards. 14-6, the Chargers have the lead.
All right, so we're getting everything statted specifically here. Jack Whitecotton has the touchdown. He goes 25 yards. It all goes as fumble yardage because the ball is loose. So you can put what you do there. Also, what you'll give to Hamilton is minus yards to the point where Slicker picked it up for your statistics, which will be 0. Thank you. And boy, was that confusing. Now I know why we separate these people in the press box.
That's why Jeff, if you see me flagging you down tomorrow with the Wabash game, that's because I want you to give Scott and Brent and kick them out and come in and work as our stat man.
Guys over here all jumping around like a bunch of Kansas City dancers over here. Boy, I'll tell you what. But the Chargers, with 9:25 to go in the first half, have taken a 12-6 and then a 14-6 lead on the 2-point conversion as Slicker sets it all up by picking up the second recovered fumble that Chatard has put on the ground today. Templeman takes a couple of long strides back to out his own 25-yard line. Kyle Connor is deep in the middle of the triangle. Daniels and Presley also there. Templeman strides the ball. They're on the dry side of the field, and there's a real loose squiver kick that's going to be picked up at about the 30-yard line. As the loose coverage is finally grabbed, and the ball will be returned, I believe, as Jimmy Pappas. He'll get a couple of yards, but he's in coverage, John. There's a lot of folks down there in the middle of that gaggle.
That's right. Good coverage that time by North Montgomery, getting everybody down there. Good kick, kicking it right down into the soggy part of the field. Hopefully they can pick up another turnover.
And guess who that kamikaze man flying down the field? Mike Gerald. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, no kidding. Boy, there's a blinding flash of the obvious. He's been doing that all season long. But the Chargers defense now has responded, and we're going to get Harvey in during our next dead ball situation because he's been talking with Greg Simpson down in the field about the North defense a little bit. As on first down, Rich Linden rolls out, Throws out on the flat. Oh, man, the pass is nearly intercepted. Yerke stepped in front of it. The intended receiver was Daniels coming out on the right split end side, but Yerke stepped in front of it, tipped it away. Pass a little bit too high.
It was just a little bit too high, Jeff, but I tell you what, North Montgomery on the second time today almost gambled and lost because Yerkes went to step in for the ball instead of playing the man. Linden now only 2 of 6, 60 yards, but one of those 2 completions was a touchdown.
Harvey, a quick report from down on the sideline.
Well, Greg Simpson just reported up these conditions getting deplorable, and he doesn't think Chatard's going to be able to run the ball. Passing is still going, and Mike Sowers, defensive coordinator, is really applauding the defense.
As on second down and 10, Chatard, who has only rushed for 4 yards, goes to the air. Linden tries to pass the ball to Connor over the middle. Slicker reaches right over the shoulder pads and knocks the ball loose. Incomplete, third down.
And Linden paid for that pass just because Jason Gwynn went on a bullet, went right at him and hit him as he released that ball. It's the second great hit Gwynn has had tonight.
The Trojans 0 for 3 on third down conversion attempts thus far. They have scored, though, once. 14-6 is our score, just under 9 minutes to go in this first half of play. Big third down call coming up for Chatard. Linden with an I formation set up behind him. They again are working in pure mud right there on that far side of the field. Linden slips, almost falls down, rolls to his right. A North defender falls. Here's a pass into the Trojan bench on this near side of the field. The coverage was Gwynn, the intended receiver. Out there was Kavanaugh coming out from a split end on the right side. Yerke's also there to help out, but it was way too far, way too high, as everybody was slipping and falling in the mud.
Standing ovation from the North Montgomery crowd as the defense comes off the field, holding now with the 14-6 lead. The North will get the ball back in pretty decent field position, and to hit it again, Jeff, for North offense on the field, the rain has stopped.
Walter McCain will stand at about his own 20-yard line. He'll kick the ball away. McCormick is deep. Also, on this side of the field, we see Aaron Yerke. The run up and the kick is good. Man, what a kick. A great kick. McCormick flags it at his own 30-yard line. Breaks the tackle, slips to the 35, pushes one of his own guys out of the way. He's got 10 yards and about 12 now as he is finally pushed out of bounds.
Coverage kick by Chatard.
And Harvey, another quick report from the field.
Another defensive thing. Greg had a nice observation. He said North was crouching on linebackers very low and disguising where the blitz package was coming from.
And they have done a good job as they have limited Chatard to only one big play, that 56-yard touchdown pass. Calder comes wide to the left side. Gwynn goes wide to the right. 3 flooded wide receiver to the right side. Slicker now working out of the spread formation. Changes the call. Calls for the ball. Again, standing at his own 41. Quick pass out on the right side flat. This is going to be, I believe, Gwynn, as we've got mud everywhere. Boy, what a big hit. Gwynn will pick up about 4 yards or so. Harden has a huge hit. Actually, we're going to mark the ball back to about the 46-yard line, so technically it'll only be a gain of 1. But man, was Gwynn spun around on a big forearm smash. Looked like Vic the Bruiser out there.
I was going to say, he got him with a forearm and an elbow right up high, Jeff, right in the chest. A good, clean hit, but a nice, strong hit. The hand, Harvey's telling me, went up a little bit under the chin. Good, strong hit, but Jason Gwynn's been giving him out. He might as well take one.
He dished one out and brought one back in. McCormick splits out wide to the left side. One back in to help out with Slicker, who sends 3 wide to the right side on second down. We're going to call it 9 to go, under 8 minutes to go, and we've got timeout on the field. Slicker calls North Montgomery's first timeout with 7:52 to go in the first half. The Chargers hold a one touchdown lead. It is 14-6. as on the call. Flags fly. North Montgomery facing a 2nd down and 9 situation, and just as the snap went back to Slicker in the spread formation, somebody wasn't set.
Yeah, you know, that's one thing you hate to do is you have to use a timeout because you don't like the set you have, and you come right out and you get a 5-yard penalty for an illegal procedure. I'm sure that Coach Scott Kegley is not real happy with the way the offense looked right there, but now it's 2nd down and 14. 3 penalties, 22 yards now on the Chargers.
Coach Kegley isn't very happy. I wouldn't want to be going over there to talk to Coach German about it very much either. So on 2nd down and long, a call coming up now. Slicker will probably stay with the same formation. He does split 3 wide out to the right side on the short side of the field. BJ pumps short, has some time, throws out on the flat in the middle, and looking for, I believe that is Calder, who slides towards the 50-yard line. Again, a lot of the backs of these players starting to get covered up a little bit with some of the grime from the Lawrence North Field. Report from Greg down in the field that it's just turning into a bog down there, and as long as it's warm enough, the guys won't notice it quite so much.
Yeah, they probably won't. That ball just thrown a little bit behind Clint. There was no way he was really going to pull that in. 3rd down and long now for North.
And 3 for 6 on 3rd down conversion attempts is North Montgomery. Now they'll send 3 wide out to the left side. Gwynn's the widest of this on the left side. Slicker now again changes the call here at the line of scrimmage. Templeman to block. Slicker stands at his own 35-yard line. Clock running, or stopped at 7:45 to go. BJ throws it out on the flat. He had McCormick open for just a second, but I think he intentionally threw that where Jason wasn't going to catch the ball because Doug Presley was burrowing in, I should say, on McCormick. He would have leveled him for a loss anyway.
Yeah, I think that was, he just led Jason a little bit. If Jason was able to get out to it and get a quick step, Jeff, then he catches the ball and he probably goes a little bit. But you're right, BJ put that ball where it was not going to be intercepted. He'd rather punt the ball away with the 8-point lead here with 7:41 left to go in the first half.
Slicker will stand at his own 34-yard line, dropping back to his 33. Back deep now goes Kyle Connor. Connor has one good return thus far tonight, but I'm sure that BJ will be looking to kick this football right in the middle of the mud that he is standing in. There's a right-footed kick. It is a high kick that is going to be fielded at about the 26-yard line. Connor wallows through the mud to the 25, now comes right side. Finally is pushed out of bounds at about the 30-yard line, making it the 31-yard line as Jason McCormick is down there on coverage. After a 33-yard kick, it's a 7-yard return, and with 7.5 minutes to go, Chatard will have it, trailing by a touchdown.
They'll have the ball, but Jeff, they're going to be starting right there in all that mud, and that's the worst part of the field for Chatard to have to try and run their offense. They've been able to do nothing on the ground. Now they're going to have to possibly try and throw the ball a little bit. The rain starts back up again. It's blowing around. That's been off and on all night, but they're going to snap that ball right from that horrible mud, and you're going to have a real hard time trying to set the ball or set your feet if you're going to try and make a good pass.
As Barry Lewis points out to me, as an interesting point that will happen during the last offensive series for North. We'll get to it in a second. As coming up to center, Rich Linden will set his line up. He'll pitch it wide. It's going to be Hamilton. Hamilton again right through the mud, breaks the tackle. There's a flag as Hamilton will pick up about 15 yards. But John saying it's going to be a holding call. Aaron Yerkes has the tackle, but this 15-yard run is probably heading back farther into the mud.
Jeff, and that's going to call, and a holding call is from the point of the penalty, and it's marked 10 yards back from that. That was marked at the line of scrimmage, so it's going to negate a nice run for the Chatard offense, and they're going to set up a 1st and 20.
Chatard, Coach Craig Barr out and talked to the referee for a second, found out who it was, and he didn't say very much. I think he knew exactly where it was because he then went out and had a chat. You know, he yelled to one of the guys on the offensive line saying, hey, you got to keep your arms in. Once you extend those arms, that's where those penalties start to show.
And then where that really hurts Coach Barr, and you talk about that, is that was a good 8 yards behind where the ball was, where that flag was thrown, Jeff. It had nothing to do with what was going on in the play, and all it does is set up 1st and long for Chatard.
The ball will be moved back to the 21-yard line. Hager splits out wide to the left side. Also Hamilton with formation we've seen them try and throw out of before. Linden back to throw, rolls to his right, puts it out on the flat. This is Connor. Connor will pick up a couple of yards, and now we're going to get a flag on a late hit. Connor was hauled down. He was out of bounds. And instead of letting go, one of the North Montgomery defensive players just turned around, spun him, and threw him to the ground. And a very, very obvious unsportsmanlike conduct call is going to come here, and the Chargers will give back 15 yards after that short pass 10-yard penalty.
And they're going to give up 15 yards, and they're going to give up first down, more importantly, Jeff. And you're right. It started to spin him. They had crossed the sideline, and when the official blew the whistle, he did not let up. He continued to spin him and throw the wide receiver down to the ground. It is an obvious call, and I tell you what, you talk about Coach Charlie German not being happy a minute ago. He isn't going to be happy on that, as it's going to give them the ball out to about the 40-yard line. For some reason, they're going to mark it off for a 5-yard penalty and automatic first down.
So it'll be 5 yards on the pass and 15 yards on the mark-off. 4 penalties for North Montgomery, 37 yards total. I formation now on first down for Linden. He'll pitch back to Hamilton. Hamilton, who picked up big yards, will pick up pretty decent yardage on this particular carry. And Kevin Templeman, coming up from middle linebacker, will make the hit. The play, as our clock stops with 7:14 to go, we're going to remove the sticks, and it'll be first down for Chatard.
That penalty, the fourth penalty on the Chargers here, just 37 yards. And you're as confused as I am. Remember that they were 10 yards back, and that's where things seem so confusing.
Well, the ball will be spotted at the 44-yard line of Chatard. We'll start the clock down now that the sticks have moved. First down and 10 as center Tony Dick, the 251-pound, 6'1" sophomore, comes up over center. He's got some pretty serious meat to his right and left side on that offensive line for the Trojans. They'll block for the run here as on first down. Hamilton will get the call, trying to go right off tackle. He'll get a yard at the most. We got a flag on the far side of the field, which always indicates some sort of a procedure call.
I was going to say, it's going to be procedure on offside. I did not see a North player that seemed to be lined up in the neutral zone. We'll find out what it is. I would guess that if this is against Chatard, you'll see North Montgomery decline that because there was essentially no gain on the play.
Here comes the call with illegal procedure against Chatard. Probably, as we noted, lined up in the neutral zone. Coach Barr getting the explanation again from the referee coming to this side of the field. And we have not yet had the mark off. They will take the play. A gain of 0 that time for Hamilton, who was piled up pretty much in the middle, as we noted, by Templeman, but also John Gerald. Things up at the original line of scrimmage.
That's right. North Montgomery's defensive line's doing a good job, shutting down the Chatard running attack that's gained over 1,700 yards on the season.
One big play, 9 carries for 7 yards for Hamilton on the game. Thank you, Brent. As it has been one big 50, that is team, as Chatard has rushed for those few yards as a team. And here comes the second down and 10 call. Play action pass. Linden has to get rid of it. Throws it out. It's going to be intercepted. And from the 43-yard line, the pick is by Yerkes, and it will be a return back to the 48-yard line or so of Chatard. So another turnover. And boy, we've talked about it so many times how well this North defense has played tonight. And save one play, it'd be 14-0.
And I tell you what, in that one play while it was a breakdown by North defensively, it was an excellent run play by Chatard that led to their touchdown. And I tell you what, I talked to some of the coaches on the field, Jeff, before the game. We talked about how North's front seven and their ability to move to the ball is as good as probably any team in 2A.
Yerkes has his second interception in 2 weeks. He had one last week late in the ballgame against Monrovia. His 9-yard return gives North good field position just inside Chatard. Here's BJ on first down. Pass out on the right side is intended for Calder, and it gets to him on the first hop. So, again, we've talked about it on the wet field. We talked about the wet football, wet hands. BJ really having some problems throwing the ball thus far tonight, but looking at it from all standpoints, the North defense has done their job, and they are still leading by a touchdown.
Yeah, North is going to be going into this top end of the field as you talk about BJ now, 4 of 17, only 25 yards, but North, most importantly, has an 8-point lead.
Ratcliffe, Calder, Gwynn, wide out to the right side. Slicker will keep Templeman in and send McCormick wide to the left side to spread out the Chatard defense, clad in their blue home uniforms here. BJ rolls out. Back pitch goes to Templeman. Can he get a block? Well, he'll get one. He might get back to the original line of scrimmage. He'll be wrestled out of bounds at about midfield by Andy Hager. The outside linebacker came up and just did a nice job of making the closing tackle. A couple yards that time for Templeman. Actually lost the 3, says Brent. Chatard's front line and linebackers just stretched it out. North ran out of blockers. They ran out of guys to help out, and it just eventually ended up in the mud out of bounds.
And, Jeff, when you get into these real sloppy conditions, when you have plays that are designed to work on precision and quickness, it's too easy to drag them out and make them go for losses like that. It's exactly what you saw Chatard's defense do. String it out and drop them for a 3-yard loss.
5.5 minutes remain in the first half. North Montgomery leads by a touchdown. Kevin Templeman has a 28-yard run on their first series of plays on a gadget play, and Jack Whitecotton has a fumble return recovery for North's second touchdown. Slicker on third down and long. Goes right up the middle on the quarterback. He got a little to midfield to the 40, 35-yard line, down near the 30-yard line, into the mud and the slop at about the 32-yard line. The ball separated from Slicker, but the officials, 3 officials at that spot on the field, all rule that Slicker was down. The ball came out by contact, 19 yards. Connor with the hit.
Yeah, BJ just when he went down, Jeff, he knew he was going to be tackled. He knew he had the first down. He hit. He rolled to his back and slid. And as he slid about 2 yards in the mud, he just let the ball sit next to him. Good no call by the official. First down, Chargers.
Spotted back 1 yard for an 18-yard gain, but John, what a big block.
That's right. Kevin Templeman had a great block. He peeled off a linebacker, enabled BJ to pick up the big first down.
Line blocking moved open, and Slicker goes for the first. And North Montgomery calls timeout. 5:11 to go in the first half. The Chargers lead 14-6. We're trying to find out how the Brownstown-North Posey game is going down in what seems like just what literally is another time zone. 5:11 to go after the North Montgomery timeout. The Chargers will have it. It'll be first down and 10. They go from the 33-yard line of Chatard. Single back set offense. Slicker passes out on the screen on the right side. Here's a swing pass to Ratcliffe. Ratcliffe's got a block. He's got 2 blocks. He's down inside the 20-yard line, down inside the 15-yard line. Kyle Condor rolls him out of bounds, but another big play as North's offense finally kind of hits their stride here on a couple plays in a row.
Yeah, an excellent job. He's got Clint Calder out there in front of him to block out front. They're going to get themselves down to the 14-yard line, maybe even down to the 13 where they're going to spot this ball. Just excellent play. Good job of catching the ball and then making the turn. You get past that first guy that you can't allow the defender to cut back, as we talked about all night. You get one lead blocker. It's almost inside the 15 here. Good red zone offense for North.
Pickup of 20 for Ratcliffe on the pass and run. First down and 10 from the 13-yard line for North Montgomery. Slicker again calling his formation and his play as Tim Flagg sets up as his blocking back. We want to talk about that in a second. As Slicker rolls out, pitches back on the lateral to Flagg. Flagg will be real lucky to get back to the line of scrimmage. We may lose a yard. Last time they ran that play to Templeman, he lost 3, and the loss and a good hit that time by Chris Ottenweller, who's doing some backup work, loss of 2 in a defensive linebacker position. Tom, what North Montgomery is doing, Coach German has said that he will alternate Flagg and Templeman as much as he can in the fullback position in situations in the second quarter and probably in the third to try and avoid the leg cramping problems that Templeman has been so suspect of throughout the course of his career.
And Kevin Templeman is already right back in the game.
As we get ready to go here again on second down. Flipping the tape quickly, John. Slicker giving us a little bit of help on that as he calls for the ball out of the spread formation. Here comes the rush, throwing it out into the end zone, and McCormick very nearly had it. McCormick dived back for the ball. The ball falls to the ground. We've got a flag right at contact. The coverage is Mazanowski, and man, this is going to be a tough call for that back judge. Is it going to go against Chatard, or will it be offensive pass interference?
DJ Slicker standing right by there with clapping as the official talked to the referee. You're going to call a defensive hold, Jeff, and not a pass interference. You hear the boos from the Chatard crowd, and it's going to be first and goal, North Montgomery.
That took some serious effort and a lot of guts by an official. That was a tough contact play in the end zone to bring that flag out and throw it. And the mark-off will go against Chatard, as we noted. It'll be now first down and a goal to go for North Montgomery. We're going to call it from the 8-yard line, as it was a half the distance mark-off. And Jackson, we're going to mark the ball back. Brand, we're going to call it the 9-yard line as the ball just is inside the 10.
And give Jason McCormick's athletic ability the reason the official made that call, because Jason was able to get back to make an effort for the ball, and that's what gives North the chance.
And they'll get a chance after this, because with 4:07 to go in this first half of play, the Chargers have used their last timeout. 14-6 is our score. The Chargers have the lead. They also are down inside the 10-yard line when you come back. Back here with our broadcast crew at Lawrence North High School, where, John, the lightning has finally quit, but it wants to rain every now and then. We've got quagmire conditions, and the good folks at Lawrence North are probably going to send Chatard a big bill for tearing up their field in regional action.
That's right. Thanks to all the rain and stuff, the field is in terrible condition right now, but North Montgomery's done an excellent job moving the ball.
They have, and their defense has scored once. They have come up big. They scored on their first series of plays. Kevin Templeman took a direct snap back from center. Brian Brown went 28 yards for a score. Jack Whitecotton rambled in on a fumble recovery that B.J. Slicker started, and from 37 yards out, the Chargers got their second touchdown. They are now threatening as they're now at the 9-yard line of Chatard. Slicker on first down, keeps the ball. Flags fly on this near side of the field. The play breaks down immediately as Slicker was looking to give it to Templeman. Couldn't get that done. Hurdled over some blocking and eventually was hauled down. And we'll check and see what the flag is after, a no gain or a loss of 1 for BJ.
I tell you what, we're waiting on that, Jeff. Quickly, Brownstown leading North Posey 6-0. That score in the first quarter. And at halftime, the Pacers trail the Sacramento Kings 61-38.
The Pacers, the Brownless Pacers, the Larry Brownless Pacers. So that's just down the road here from us at Market Square Arena. And, again, it's certainly a pounding, but it's the NBA. It'll be tied up by the end of the third quarter.
I was going to say, and the surprisingly undefeated Sacramento Kings.
Well, the Pacers had a 26-point lead on Toronto in the home opener last weekend and blew that, and were eventually trailing by 4. So it's way too early.
In true Pacer fashion.
Right. The penalty marks off against North Montgomery, and so they will have second down now and goal to go from the 14-yard line. Flicker over center. On the call. Flicker looking to throw over the middle. Gwynn diving for the ball, going up the middle of the field. The pass is going to be incomplete. If the ball was at the 9-yard line before on first and goal, and we had a... Okay.
Saying it was not an automatic first down. Defensive holding as opposed to pass interference.
Okay. And third down now and 10 yards to go then for North. So our apologies on messing that whole thing completely up.
2 down territory here for the North Montgomery Chargers.
With the clock stopped after the incomplete pass. 3:41 to go. Somebody's got to sit down and draw me a picture on that one. As McCormick splits out wide to the left side. Coming into the slot on the left side comes Ratcliffe. Flicker stands over center. Keeping Templeman in behind him in a single back offense. BJ with no timeouts left now, so don't get into the Chris Webber scenario here. Back to throw on the snap. We want a timing pattern into the end zone, looking for Calder. The ball is off his fingertips, bounces, and I think once off his arm. Good double coverage by Chatard. That would have been a very, very difficult pass to complete.
Doug Presley was the man in there on the initial coverage that basically knocked that ball away or forced the hit right at the point of reception. Now it's going to be 4th down and 10 for the Chargers.
And again, the ball is spotted at about the 13-yard line or so. And again, we've lost a lot of the field markers down there because of the torrential rain. So we'll give it to Brent's best spotting efforts and John Roach. McCormick splits out wide to the left side. 4th down, North Montgomery. 3.5 minutes to go here in this first half, looking for one more score. Flicker sends 3 wide to the right side. Snaps back, throws into the end zone, intended for McCormick, tipped away by Kyle Connor. Good defensive play right there by Connor from a free safety position. Really dotted the ball away. McCormick was open for a second. BJ really threw a rifle shot at him, but it couldn't get in.
And Chatard's coaching staff was screaming for the defensive front and the defensive backs to shift to the far side of the field where North was overloaded with receivers. They didn't do it, and the coaching staff sat there the whole play with their hands, both hands locked on top of their heads like, please don't get burnt because we didn't make the adjustment. Kyle Connor, the big player for them defensively, the big play.
Well, that he did. I think if they would have shifted to the left side, McCormick would have had an open lane, and BJ would have had open lane to throw the ball to him. And so with 3:33 to go in the first half, North offense can't get in, and Chatard's defense holds again inside the red zone. They will go on first down, handing the ball off to Pettigrew. Templeman steps up from the middle linebacker position to make the hit as the clock winds now as we get close to 3 minutes and counting here in this first half, with North Montgomery leading 14-6.
Officials stop the clock while the officials to change the football, which helps Chatard a little bit. 3:18 left to go. Just remember, if North keeps Chatard off the board here, North will probably start with the second half with the ball.
That they will. Back to throw. Pass to Connor out on the right side. Spins around away from coverage. Picking up a first down. The hit by Yerkes, but not before, again, senior Kyle Connor, who has the single score in the ball game for the Trojans. A 56-yard pass completion from fellow senior and quarterback Rich Linden. They'll get the ball out to about the 25-yard line, where, as we noted, it will be a new first down and a set of first downs for Chatard. Working just in the middle of the soupiest part of the field right here. Connor comes out wide to the right side. Pro set formation. Linden back to throw. Here comes the blitz. He steps away from it, gets away from it, runs into one of his own men, and then he's going to be hauled down after a gain of a couple 3 yards by Templeman. Sparks was there close by, but the final hit goes to Jason Brown. And it'll be a pickup of 3 that time. Linden avoided a big sack and eventually picked up a couple of yards. Sparks got by and probably just grabbed a piece of shirt and couldn't get the ball done.
Linden very quick-footed, steps off to the side, let Sparks go by him, and then was able to get forward up to the line of scrimmage and go forward for 3 yards.
Wide to the left side. Connors in the slot on the left side as Linden rolls out left, throws, slips in the mud. He gets his passes to lead it though to Connor. Connor picks up one block, gets out near midfield, and will be rolled out of bounds at about the 48 or 49-yard line by Jason Gwynn. So the pass and the play rolls left side for the Trojans, and with 2:20 to go here in the first half, they move out of the mud part of the field, Tom, move to near midfield, and their offense now has generated something realistically for the first time save for that big play. Gain of 21.
Yeah, now North Montgomery needs to tighten back up a little bit on defense. They were playing soft, almost in that prevent as you put an extra, essentially a nickel package. They need to tighten that up, go a little bit, and really watch Connor, the big scoring threat for Chatard.
Connor has 9 catches already for 93 yards in this ball game. Linden back to throw, looking again for Connor. He's got it in North Montgomery territory. He'll fall at about the 37-yard line. Yerkes was there on coverage, but the two seniors have really gotten their timing down as the 10th catch of the ball game by Connor from Linden now has moved Chatard after a pickup of has moved Chatard now in pretty good field position into North territory. Back to throw on the timing pattern and hanging onto the ball. Coming in from the left flanker position is Dujon Daniels. The sophomore took a big hit from Jason McCormick, but man, did a nice job of hanging onto the ball.
That's right. Now remember, now we're down inside 2 minutes. That Chatard is a team, if they get forced into it, who has a good kicking game and can get points on the board that way, a threat that North Montgomery really does not have.
Drew Fillenwars has 6 field goals out of 9 attempts on the season. Here's Linden on the timing pattern looking for his sophomore wideout. That's Daniels. He's got it on the left side. Waiting for an official indication. Finally got one. McCormick got spun around defensively, and this Chatard offense in just a minute and a half, Tom, has moved almost the length of the field. They are now down in the red zone, and now they're down knocking on the door, where North's defense had really controlled the tempo of the game for almost the entire first half. Now Chatard's offense has responded here in the
Yeah, the ball's now marked inside the 10-yard line. North really needs to get a pressure on Linden, something they have not been able to do, and try and turn them away at this point and not let them get into the end zone.
22 yards on the pickup. First down and 10 for Linden. He'll take the snap, roll out to the right. Looking, gets away from traffic, throws the ball out into traffic, and the ball is tipped around and goes out of bounds. Slicker was there tipping the ball. Also coming up off the stack, we also see Ratcliffe as North Montgomery very nearly engineered an interception inside the 5-yard line as Linden just tried to get rid of the ball. He was being hurried by the front line of North, but had a lot of seconds to throw.
Jason Brown had him wrapped up. He slipped off as he spun him, which allowed Linden to reset. And then when he threw the ball towards upfield, Sean Ratcliffe actually tipped that ball just a little bit, which meant he couldn't catch it. It also deflected it away from B.J. Slicker. Otherwise, if Ratcliffe does not touch the ball, B.J. very likely intercepts that ball on the 1 or 2 yard line.
We get a good look at the re-spot of the ball. We see it is inside the 10-yard line, actually at about the 9-yard line. So on the scoreboard, Chatard picked up 2 yards on the incomplete pass. But it is second down and goal. We'll call it the 9-yard line. Linden wide pitch, looking for Hamilton. He's got it, and Hamilton will go nowhere. He'll lose a yard or two. As now looking to call timeout. Linden does get timeout called. B.J. Slicker on a good defensive play. The clock finally stops with 1:22 to go. Sparks also there to make the hit, and John North did a good job of stringing out that play and forcing Chatard to burn a timeout.
That's right. Chatard's been throwing the ball really well on this drive. They decided to go to the run play, and North Montgomery sniffed it out and did an excellent job with the front line. B.J. Slicker was there, Jason Brown, and John Sparks.
Loss of 4 on that particular running play, as now it'll be third down and goal to go for Chatard.
Chatard, Jeff, now through the game, now 12 carries as a team, only 10 yards. So North doing a great job of stopping that. Unfortunately for the Charger defense, they've not been able to stop what has been the Linden to Connor show here, as 10 completions in the first half, such an amazing number. And on this last catch down here that you saw from Connor, he just sold out diving catches. He picked that ball right before it hit the turf, and they've moved the ball very quickly. We're down to a minute 22. Chatard now with only 1 timeout remaining and facing a third down and goal.
And North Montgomery with no timeouts remaining. They used their last timeout on their last drive when they were held on downs. So 2 times tonight, Chatard has held on downs when North has gotten inside the red zone, but the Chargers do have a couple of scores. As we noted earlier, Kevin Templeman in the first quarter scored on the first series of plays on a third down and long call. It was a 28-yard direct snap and run to the big fullback, and North didn't convert, but took a 6. We'll get back to more scoring summaries at halftime as here comes the third down call for Chatard. Wideouts come to the right side. Here's a swing pass, a flanker screen pass intended for Connor, coming right over the middle. He had some serious room to run, but the pass by Linden was a little too high, went between his fingertips, and went incomplete.
And Chatard's trying to decide right now whether they're going to kick the ball or whether they're going to go for it on fourth down. It looks like, Jeff, they're going to keep the offense out, and looks like they're going to go for this on fourth down. Now they send the field goal team out.
They'll send it in. There was 1:18 to go, and the clock stopped. Linden comes off the field, and again, we will note that Drew Fillenwarth on the season with a long field goal of 32 yards is 6 of 9. He is a 5'8", 148-pound sophomore. This is going to be a 28-yard attempt, depending on the spot. It will be a high kick. Will it cross the uprights? And it does. A single official underneath the goalpost calls it good. We'll mark it back on the spot to 29 yards, and the field goal with 1:13 to go in this first half makes it now a 14-9 ball game, and North will get the ball back with a minute plus to go.
I guess the way North is going right now, Jeff, I would expect them, knowing that they're going to get the ball to start the second half, knowing that they have a lead, knowing that everything that they've gone through in this first half with the weather delay and everything else, I just don't look for them to try and do too much other than maybe one attempt long, and if they don't get anything, then just settle down, let BJ put it to one knee, don't turn the ball over, don't do anything to give Chatard another chance to score, knowing that you'll take the lead into halftime, knowing you're going to get the ball to start.
With one timeout left, Chatard will not be able to keep North from running the play clock out if they should so desire. Again, if you're just tuning in to WIMC FM 103.9 out of Crawfordsville, we are not yet at halftime, and the reason for that is we had a 25-minute delay for bad weather conditions here. But right before the start of our contest, we had lots and lots of lightning here in the Lawrence North area on the northeast side of Indianapolis.
Just a reminder for people listening who obviously probably already know this, the winner of this game will take on the Brownstown Central North Posey winner. That game going on at North Posey. Brownstown Central in the first quarter was leading that game 6-0, and Jeff Chatard just went 75 yards in 10 plays, took him 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and it was capped off by a 29-yard field goal that pulls them within 5 at 14-9.
I believe all of their positive yardage was through the air. I don't believe they ran for anything except for the couple of plays, a total of -4. McCormick is back deep for North. Here's a squib kick that's just going to scoot up the middle of the field. It'll roll down into the end zone, and it'll be a touchback. As high school rules, the ball died, Tom, about 1 foot. Ball died about 1 foot into the end zone. McCormick was there looking for it. He never fumbled the ball, so he had no legal disposition to have to return it. Once it got into the end zone, it was an automatic touchback.
That's the difference between the high school, college, and then the pro rule. In the pro rule, that's a live ball, and the kicking team can run down, pounce on that in the end zone for a touchdown. We've seen teams do.
And as we've goofed up before on trying to keep the rules straight between high school, college, and professional football. So North Montgomery will have the ball 1st and 10 on the touchback at their own 20-yard line. They'll set up just a standard formation with a wide out to each side, 2 tight ends for Slicker. And Tom says the Chargers will go to one knee and run the clock out here and go to halftime with the 5-point lead. We'll see what happens. Slicker, though, will throw. Here's McCormick on the left sideline. Gets a completion, gets out across the 25, out to about the 28-yard line. The play will be ruled in bounds, however, as McCormick is hauled down by cornerback Doug Presley. Pickup of about 7 on that particular play, and the Chargers will have it 2nd down.
North going in just a hurry-up offense. Obviously, they want to try and get the ball out of bounds there for McCormick, or they wanted to pick up the first down to stop the clock. He was unable to do either.
Clock continues to run, 44, 43, 42, and counting. Slicker calls the formation as he stands over center. Keeps Cervantes behind him. One wide out to each side, and now we'll stop the clock because we've got people jumping off sides.
And now I would think that North Montgomery, something like that, that's when you start thinking, okay, maybe we just shouldn't be trying anything. Let's just go to one knee and end up this first half.
The procedure penalty will be marked off against the Chargers. Left side of the line jumped, and the clock stops with 34 seconds to go.
BJ to genuflect and head to the locker room.
How appropriate, huh?
I had to get that in.
Had to get one in.
6 penalty on the Chargers now, 47 yards.
As we work our way to halftime, we'll get the scoring summaries. Another score update from down at North Posey. Whatever else happens to strike the fancy here, Slicker will just call his own number, quarterback keeper up the middle of the field. He'll get out to about the 30-yard line, and they'll stop the clock because he does cross the 30, and we'll pick up the first down. So BJ will pick up about 6 or 7 yards. We'll call it 8, actually, as Ottenweller will make the hit, and they'll move the sticks statistically, and we'll start the clock. And North Montgomery is not going to call another play. We'll run the clock down here in just a couple of seconds as at halftime of this regional championship football game at Lawrence North High School. It's been a well-fought matchup between these two top teams. It's a top 10 rated match. It's the number 4 North Montgomery Chargers at 10-1 in the season, leading at halftime over the number 6 rated Bishop Chatard Trojans. The score, 14-9, and we'll be back with halftime scoring and stats right after this.